Bella Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District, with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, your host today. We got a great show lined up for you today. But before we get to that, we always have some announcements and things to share. Right off the bat, I want to talk about an issue that's been cropping up on Facebook and in the media for the last year or two. I'm going to say a couple words, and I hope I don't offend anybody. Are you ready? Merry Christmas. Okay? I said it. I said it here live on the show. What is the big, hairy deal about this? I don't get it. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever. I grew up in the city of Buffalo, and when the holidays came around, if we say Happy Holidays, it was all inclusive. Nobody got offended. Oh, you're not saying Merry Christmas, or you're not talking about the Jewish holidays or whatever. It was just this catch-all phrase. And so when I sign a letter at this time of year, a lot of times I'll say Happy Holidays. It's not meant to be exclusive, but inclusive. If I want to say Merry Christmas to my Jewish friends, they say the same thing back to me or whatever. So let's kind of take a chill on that, will you? Cripes. It's a all-encompassing, wonderful time of the year, and I don't know why people think that everybody's going to get their feelings hurt if we use that particular term. In fact, we even put our tree up here today at the studio. It's over here to my right, your left, I guess. I never know, because when I look at myself on TV, I can't tell it's over this way. And so we're getting into, there it is, my little Charlie Brown tree. That little tree has followed me. I was telling the guys all the different schools I've been over the years. Somewhere along the line we got that as a gift, and so it's going to serve our Christmas tree here. I know you can't tell, but it's about 7 feet tall, and we're going to be putting Christmas presents under there. So anyways, so I hope you're getting ready for the holidays. It's a fun time of the year. I know that we've been making cookies. My wife's family's going to have a big cookie exchange tomorrow, and the Christmas tree is up. My granddaughters helped me decorate that. What great fun that is having a whole nother generation working with you to decorate the tree. And I was looking at the ornaments as we were putting them up. And it's going to tie into what we're talking about today, about history and genealogy and family. Every one of those ornaments, unless they were something generic we bought, has a little history to it. I've got things that my mom gave us when we first got married, or maybe when I was still in school, that I took with me when I left home all those years ago. I've got things that the kids made when they were in kindergarten, little paper ornaments and little soldiers and things like that. I've got things that when Barb and I first got married, we didn't have hardly any money, and we had these kinds of low-cost little plastic ornaments. And Barb's always trying to get me to throw it away. And I said, don't you dare. I said, this is what keeps us humble in this family, when we remember what it was like when we didn't have hardly anything. And so when our kids say, what's all about that? And we'll say, you know, I remember when we lived in a trailer for a while and we were just getting by, and this reminds me of where we began in our simple lives. And not that our lives are any more complicated, but we've done a little bit better from those days, but it keeps me focused, and that's what's important for me anyways. We've got homemade cookie type of ornaments. We've got things that are from our trips around the world and things like this. We try to bring back ornaments. We've got these beautiful glass birds with these cool feathers coming out from Germany and so on. So I hope your Christmas tree, if you do put one up, is a collection of your family's history. I was visiting my dad the other day, and he was showing me some ornaments that were on his tree from all the years that him and my mom were together, and her legacy lives on through her Christmas tree ornaments. So it's a good time. So we'll be talking more about history here later on. Okay, so on Chautauqua Sunrise, we are happy to share information about your organization, anything that's going on in your lives, whether it's a birthday, anniversary, if you want to share something that's going on in your communities or whatever. So let me give you an example, all right? This week, my wife and I are going to celebrate our anniversary, and it just doesn't seem possible that it could be 33 years. I don't look that old, do I? Oh, I do? Our cameraman is shaking his head. All right, you don't have to agree with me that fast. Anyways, I want to wish my wife happy anniversary on December 11th. It's been great, and we hopefully will have 33 plus more years beyond that. Okay, so that's how easy it is. If you want to give us a call, you can call in. You can email us throughout the week. You can Twitter us. You can go to Facebook. We got a whole slide on that. We do appreciate if you go to our Facebook site and give us a like. I think we're about 137 likes now, and our show is seen around the world because we upload it to YouTube. I gotta get on my social media terms here, Craig. I get tongue-tied some days. We're on YouTube, and just to give you an example, Rick Mascaro, who was on here last week, he's somewhere like 100 views on the show. So I know that people are watching the show. If you ever want to look up a show and say, well, you know, what did they say about diabetes, or what was that show about makeup or whatever, you can go to YouTube, put in Chautauqua Sunrise. In fact, you just go Chautauqua S and Sunrise pops right up as one of the choices. And all the shows that we've done up to today are on there, and you can watch the whole show. You can move it ahead on the little bar if you want to skip my my intro, and you can go right to the guest. So it's there. This is information for you to know about, and hopefully we can show off a lot of things that's going on in our county. All right. So anyways, check us out if you like. If you have information, share it with us. And you can call in throughout the show anytime between 9 and 10 every Saturday morning with us here. I have a few things I want to share with you that did come in throughout the week and we've had right along. So I'm gonna push Jeff's buttons here. He's got all this information. So let's see if he's got them in the same order as I do. I think coming up next week, is the Grinch Fest over at the Patterson Library. Do we have a slide on that? I think we do. We'll see what's going on there. There we go. And it's December 20th. Excuse me, I thought it was next week. So my understanding is the Grinch is going to make a showing. If you ever watched the Dr. Seuss movie, that the animation, it's a fun movie, and the Grinch is quite a character, and he is the Grinch. He really is Grinchy type. He's grumpy and he's disgusting, but somewhere along the line he does find goodness in his heart and he becomes okay guy, I guess. But anyways, check that out, 1 to 4 over there at the library, and if you have any need more information, you always give them a call. But check it out, the kids will have a great time. The Grape Discovery Center over on Route 20, right in Westfield, is having a special fundraiser on December 13th. Did I get that right? Yep. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're going to have some music with Tom Tricoli. And if you haven't been there, It's all decorated, and they're going to be having what they call the Christmas in the Vineyards. I stopped by there the other day just to say hi and to meet the new manager there, Christina McCain, and I got to do a little Christmas shopping for family this year. We draw names, and so I have one relative that likes wine and things like this, and I thought, well, maybe there's something over there that I could get, and I found a couple things. So I'll be going back next week, and maybe you'll be there too, and if you see me, say hi. But all the proceeds, of course, help support the Grape Discovery Center, and the Grape Discovery Center is not only an opportunity for you to purchase things that are grape related, wine related, but it also is the history of I keep talking about history, you know, it's like I've been tying that theme in here today. It has the history of grape cultivation all along the lakeshore here, and as I've said in the past, if you think that grapes is just a passing thing, the grape industry is huge. It is the underpinnings of especially western Chautauqua County, our economy and the industries here and the products that people make that are grape related. So this is huge. So if you haven't had an opportunity just to come out and visit, it's like a little museum in there, and you can sample some grape juice. And I had the pleasure to actually, Tom's playing this time, but I played for the very first grand opening they had. I know that it sounds like how many grand openings can you have, but I think they had 2 or 3. But I was the very first one, and I had the pleasure of be playing in the background. But it's a beautiful facility, and it's the old Beckman Everett's Ford dealership, I think it is, right there on Route 20 as you're going towards Ripley. Okay, so check that out. They're having a big sale, and all the proceeds go to help support that situation. Okay, now for those of you in Ripley, if you know Gloria Molson, she's my wife's cousin-in-law. She called me up the other night and she says, well, you always said if I wanted something announced on your show to call you. I said, that's correct. So we'd start out with what should have been a 30-second discussion, ended up with about 20 minutes because she had so much to share. So I'm going to try to do that for you right now. So this is happening in Ripley. On December 17th, there's the Senior Citizens Christmas holiday, I don't care what you want to call it, dinner at the school, and it's going to be at 12:30. There's entertainment. I believe dinner's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, lunch, and it's always delicious. Sue Gambino and the crew do a great job over there. I've been there over the years. And if you're interested, folks, call for a reservation at 736-2631. And that's at extension 1192. So one more time, 736-2631, that's the school number, and go to extension 1192. And if you forget all this, call the school, get the operator, Pam Bull will take your call, and tell them you want to attend the senior citizen luncheon. It's no charge. They usually have a drawing there. People win little Christmas trees and wreaths, and it's a great time. So it's for you. It's appreciation for all the years you've supported the school. Okay, now, this is where it took a while. I said, Gloria, can't you just write this down and give it to me? Well, I had her on the phone, so we just kept on going. Today in Ripley, all different things are going on. I think even as we, very shortly, it's going to start. It's like Christmas in Ripley, all right? There's going to be reindeer pancakes at Meters. So I think that's going on right now. And there's going to be a visit from the Grinch somewhere along the line. And then at the Ripley Library, starting at 10 this morning throughout the day, they are going to have projects for kids. And what I'm told, it's called a warming station, but they're going to have hot chocolate and stuff like that for everybody. Then at 12:30, there's going to be 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. They're going to have like a dramatic presentation of that. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be at the fire hall from 1 to 4. This is a long announcement, but I'm happy to do it. At the firehouse right there on State Street. Then throughout this afternoon from 1 to 3, there's going to be tours of the Hamilton Mansion. It's $5. If you have never been in there, it is unbelievable. It's a great building. I've been in there over the years, and it's gorgeous. So if you have an interest to take a tour, they're charging $5, then the proceeds are going to the library. So thank you for the folks that own that particular facility. And then from 3 to 5, there's a little kind of secret entrance to the Hamilton Mansion. It's like a courtyard, and all I know is that it's free, and you can go in there, and they're going to have a specially decorated. So I guess it's supposed to be really, really, really nice to have a look at. Over at the local restaurant, Wings and Things, they have a prayer tree. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but people are hanging certain prayers for this time of year on this particular tree. At the Methodist Church, they have a live nativity from over there, a nativity scene, and they have a chicken and that's from 3 to 5. It's a long announcement, I told you. Chicken and biscuit dinner at the Presbyterian Church between 4:30 and 6:30. I don't have a price on that. I don't think it's very much. And then somewhere along the line, they're going to have an ugly sweater contest, $50 a prize, and this is you enter. I think you pay a few bucks, and that's supporting the local food pantry. There's a tree lighting by meters in the school at 7 o'clock. There's going to be Christmas caroling throughout the day at the fire hall. Besides, there's going to be hay rides, horse-drawn cart at the fire hall. Let's see, they're also collecting money and food items to support the food pantry. And then, but they've got their act together this year. You get this little passport, Ripley's Holiday Festival it's called. And I guess if you get this stamped and you get 7 stamps and put your name on there, they're going to have a free drawing for a special holiday basket. So Ripley this year has come alive. They're doing a lot of fun things. And this whole thing is hosted by the Ripley Bicentennial Committee. Ripley's going to be about 200 years old here pretty soon, and so I know that they're prepping for all that. Whew, that was a long one, so thank you for sharing that with Gloria. Also, if you haven't driven through Westfield and some of the communities at nighttime, wowzer, Westfield is like on fire. It's gorgeous. If you haven't been to the park there, Moore Park, and all along McClurg Mansion in that area, it's like going to Disneyland. It's gorgeous. Some of the other communities you go, and it's just gorgeous this time of year. So get the kids, jump in the car, or just go for yourself and just enjoy the lights. Finally, last announcement, and then we're going to get to our show. Lots of stuff today. The Children's Safety Education Village has their cash calendar on sale. And this is supporting the village. As you know, I'm a big supporter of this. And the deal is this: you pay $20. And throughout the months, there's different days, and they give away money on those days if you enter the contest. So, for instance, let's see, what's January 1st, New Year's Day, you can win $100. Let's see, President's Day, you can win $50. Valentine's Day is a $100 day. Not every day pays, but there's big prizes on different days. And then the fun one is the 12 Days of Christmas. Not this December, but December 2015. From the 13th to the 25th, every day is bigger money. And then the final week of Christmas is 50, 50, 50, and there's $100 on Christmas Day. So anyways, support's at $20. Almost everybody I've ever sold one of these has won something over the years. And you fill it out, you tear off the stub, it goes to the village, and they draw names. Now, this is every week. Every week they throw your name back in there, and you can win multiple times. So anyways, I'll be talking about this a couple other times. But if you know anybody at the Safety Village, or you go down there, or if you want book or whatever, give me a call, or you want a calendar, and we'll get you one. So anyways, wow, enough on that. I want to be quiet now. I want to take a break because we have a great show coming up here with John Paul Wolfe with the Historical Society from Chautauqua County. See how I did that backwards? And the McClurg Mansion. So take a break. I'll be right back.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
Okay, I'm back. You are watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. And for the next, let's see here, we got 40 minutes. We are going to be talking to John Paul Wolfe, who will come out here in a second. There he is. That's what he looks like. But what I wanted to say before I talk to John is, if you're into genealogy, or if you just enjoy learning about the history of your community, It's cool stuff. I love digging in and finding out about things. I'd like to find out, for instance, who lived on our property or what they did in our property. Was there ever any house on our property before we built our house? Just all kinds of neat things. If you watch the History Channel, there's all kinds of neat things that are going on where people are learning more about our country. And I know it seems hard to believe, but most of the things that we learned in history class back in our elementary years aren't exactly right. And to find that the Vikings, Irish, Phoenicians, other people came to America long before Columbus was even thought of, it seems to be the going trend these days. And so I love history. I'm so glad that John came on the show today, and we're going to have an opportunity for you to call in anytime once we get going here. If you have a question, I'm sure John knows everything because he's like a history guy. You ready, John?
Okay.
No, we don't know everything here, but if we do have a question that we can't answer, we'll get it to you, or we'll send you in a direction you can find that information. Good morning, John, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
How are you?
Okay.
Okay, now it's our time to talk together. John, I've known you for some time now. We used to do some work together at the credit union, and I do know that you've been pretty well involved with your community and so forth. Are you originally from Westfield?
No, I'm from Jamestown.
Oh, really?
Lived 50 years in Jamestown.
Okay.
Taught at Casadega Valley.
What'd you teach?
Art, high school art.
Oh, you have to realize, folks, before we went on the show, John was reappointing all of our pictures here in this color scheme. I have a very nice red behind me today as opposed to the... Anyways, it looks beautiful. We got a Christmas tree shining, we got color scheme beautiful. So you taught art?
I taught art and produced the musicals.
Oh.
Did 32 musicals.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
So
it's in a different life.
Different
life.
So you've been retired for some time now?
2004.
Okay. You got me by just a couple years. You enjoying retirement?
Too busy.
Too busy.
Too busy. Can't do it.
I ran into some folks the other day, and they said, "How's retirement going?" I go, "I highly recommend it, especially if you can leave at a good age and good health. You know, it's wonderful." Okay. So, John, I know, like I said, you're involved with quite a few things, but how in the world did you end up? Your title is curator at the McClurg Mansion.
I drew the short stick.
Somebody had to do it, huh?
There's a new board in the Chautauqua County Historical Society that's reinventing the Historical Society, probably in 2007, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Everything got changed quite a bit. And there's 15 of us now on the board from all over the county.
Okay.
And I'm on the board of trustees, and we needed to take on the museum itself and the collections and the building, and so that's my role.
Okay, so there's an umbrella organization called the Chautauqua County Historical Society, and then there's different projects underneath there.
Right.
Okay, so let's, if we could, just start out with a general question. I kind of let in a little bit my particular interest in history, but why did you get involved with history? And why do people even care about it? Just, it's old, throw it away, get rid of it, on with the new, that type of thing.
Well, I've always been interested. I restore antiques in that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Carve, gold leaf frames and reverse painting on glass and all that. I've done that for years. Back in Jamestown, I was part of the group that started the Reg Lene. It was the Palace Civic Center back then, but I was part of that group to save the palace. So that was back in the 80s.
That's gorgeous now.
And then when I inherited the house, my family home in Westfield, we've been there forever, in my family, and so that part of the history has always been.
So were you born in Westfield?
No, I was born in Jamestown. My parents are both from Westfield. They both graduated from Westfield. The house I inherited, my family have owned and lived in since 1844.
Wow.
So it's
so really quite early.
But it's actually older than that. But we were barrel makers. We came from Germany, and we
yeah?
were
What part of Germany?
Near Frankfurt.
Okay. Reason being because I've been to Germany like 7 times, and I've flown into Frankfurt or Frankfurt, Hamburg. My German friends would have a fit the way I say things, but we speak Germish. They can't speak all the English, I can't speak all the German, so it's like a combination.
Believe it or not, there were lots of barrel makers in Westfield, and it had nothing to do with winery. The barrels, we made barrels for flour and for apples.
Seems reasonable.
Because they're the mills on the flour mills on the Chautauqua Creek, and then where you now see grapes, they were all apples.
Really?
And they made more money in grapes. So when the grape industry took off, lots of the farmers tore out their apples and put in grapes.
Much what you see with corn. They're putting more soy in and things like that. Well, see, and as it turns out, where I live, up on Welch Hill in Ripley, from what I understand, it was a big potato farm. You don't see many potato farms anymore, but I thought to myself, how is this possible? And one day after I cut the grass, I just looked, and you can see where the little furrows, or whatever you want to call them, the little ditches where they would plant the hills of potatoes. I said, I guess probably true. It's just fascinating. I love this stuff. Okay, so and I've passed by your home many times. It's beautiful. Is that pretty much the way the house looked in its heyday, or
No.
did you?
It's my house. What's now the living room, dining room, started out as a barn in the original Crossroads.
I did not know.
And hiding inside theirs is a post and beam barn structure that was made into a house, we think, around 1830.
Wow.
So it could be one of the last remaining structures, the oldest remaining structures in the whole county, if it was from the Crossroads of 1802.
And the Crossroads being where?
Right there, Gale and West Main. It's the original settlement of Chautauqua County.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, Westfield was, I've seen different historical accounts of Westfield. It was a couple different communities at one time. There was the west part,
Well,
and then there was
to start
Quincy.
but to start with, the area that's now called Westfield was all part of the town of Pomfret.
Okay.
And there were two towns in the whole county. It was just Pomfret and Chautauqua.
And Pomfret was more towards Fredonia, right?
Well, but Pomfret was originally the whole lakeshore from
today,
from
Pomfret
Ripley
is
all
more
the
up
way
there.
to Silver.
Wow.
I mean, it was one town, the whole thing. Then
Okay.
they kept dividing it up as more people came in. So what is now Westfield then became part of the town of Ripley, and then it became the town of Portland.
Okay.
And then it became the town of Westfield. So,
Wow.
It's been subdivided several times based on the people coming in.
I mentioned Quincy. What's the Quincy deal? Where did Quincy come from?
I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about that because I'm not sure. I'm
Because
sure somebody's going to call in and tell me, but I don't know.
I know there was a General Ebenezer Ripley, I believe Ripley was named after, and Westfield has something to do with the West Fields.
Right.
I believe.
Because it was what is now the town of Westfield. That's one of the theories as to where it came from. It is actually most of the town of Westfield came from the town of Portland. And it's the west part of the town of Portland.
Right.
And a little bit of Ripley was
Correct,
taken off.
right. But the Quincy just kind of I'm sure there's a good reason. I just wonder if you knew it off the top of your head. I suppose if we went to the library, we'd find out. Or
It's like there was Salem Crossings.
Where's that?
Well, it's Portland, Brockton, I can't remember
Okay.
which one. And Jamestown was the Rapids. They weren't real creative on their names. So what is now Westfield was the Crossroads, and what was Jamestown was the Rapids.
And this whole area really was sort of a what was it? Navigation. We did a lot of shipping and things, I would assume, in Barcelona was the
Barcelona
harbor.
was a major port, believe it or not.
And Lafayette, well, no, Celeron came from Chautauqua Lake, but Lafayette came through here too.
Oh, both of them, yeah.
Both of them did. Okay.
Two different centuries, but yeah.
I do that. Beatles, Rolling Stones, all, gotta get my generations right. And so, and then we had a guest on here a couple weeks ago, and actually it was Erin from the Patterson Library, and she said, well, she was on Portage Street. I go, are you French? And she said it correctly, but it's portage, but it refers to the explorers carrying their boats, canoes from Lake Chautauqua to Lake Erie, and they carried or portage.
But they didn't do it on Portage Street.
No, they didn't do
It was on the other side of the gorge.
On the other side.
The Portage.
Oh,
was
over on Gale Street, right through there? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how there was North Portage, South Portage. There was actually West Portage, which was Oak Street. I mean, the names have changed a lot, but the actual Portage was pretty much Gale Street.
That went down into the creek?
That's the only way you could get across.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, history. Yeah, of course, because Portage Street, there's a bridge there now, right?
Right.
So they'd have to go through there. I'm learning stuff as we go here. I'm just glad I showed up. Okay.
Well, let's talk about the historical
Let's talk
society.
about the Historical Society. I didn't mean to, I like to get a little bit of the local flavor here. All right, Historical Society is all Chautauqua County.
All of Chautauqua County started in 1883. The oldest historical society in the county and one of the oldest in the state. It started out being called the Chautauqua History and Science Society. And it was just, I think, 9 men who got together from around the county who did papers and research on history and whatever. And that actually is still going on today. So we have papers on our website. We have, I think I found maybe 300 that are posted so far. They date all the way back to 1884, and they're chronological, and you can pick a topic relating to Chautauqua County, and there's somebody who wrote something. The only warning, and we do it at the top of that particular site, is, history of 1885, somebody wrote something, it may not be the history that we're accepting today as the truth. But
well, I prefaced that we
Right.
learned, all the history you learn may not be true. It's subject to change.
so we have, so we're still doing speaker series even today. We do 4 to 5 a year, every year. So that's been going on since 1883, 1884. We're still doing it today at the Historical Society. So every summer there's some kind of speaker series that we do.
So you might talk about what?
Well, we did one in October on William Cushing. That was done, and we do the speaker series related to where it's located. So that talk was in Fredonia at the Grange. We did one on the Bust-I Mill. That was a picnic. That was in the spring. And I have next year's tentative schedule if you wanted to go through that a little bit. So our first one is always in April, and it's the combination of the annual meeting and a talk of some kind and a luncheon, and that's always at the Methodist Church in April, and that'll be April 25th. And the talk this year is on Eli L. T. Foote and the anti-slavery movement, and that's going to be by Wendy Strait and Doug Shepard. And then we have the next one we're doing in May is on the trolley project. Bob Johnston, who's one of our board members, is trying to restore the only remaining known trolley for the whole county, and that's down at the train station in Jamestown. So we'll have that down there.
My father-in-law is a great historian in our family for our area, because growing up, he knows quite a bit about things, and things were passed down to him. And he's always pointed out to our grandkids and his grandkids that the trolley ran right through all of our towns, through Ripley.
Everywhere.
And given any given day, if they're working on a road, sometimes you can see some of the old rails that are just covered over in that. So
true.
it's just a whole nother world, isn't it?
Most people are probably aware that the big viaduct in Westfield was put in because of the trolleys. That's the reason it was there.
Oh, wow.
You originally went down much slower, but when the trolleys came through that viaduct, the first one was put in, I think, 1906, 7, 8, whatever it was. But it was because the trolley from the Erie to Buffalo trolley, everyone had to get off on the west side, walk across the bridge, and get back on up, because it was a small bridge and they couldn't make it.
That's exactly how it is in Europe. If you ever take a train like there, you get off on one side, you go down these steps, go through a little tunnel, come back up on the other side. So it's very European. So yeah, cool.
So anyway, that's the trolley talk is in May.
Are there costs to these things?
No, everything is free.
Okay.
The annual meeting and the talk in April, there is a fee for the lunch, but
Right.
you don't have to go to the lunch. You can just come after the lunch for the meeting. So all of our talks are free.
Okay, well, be sure, I'll keep the schedule here and we'll refer to it. But for instance, there's no times and things like that. But if
Because this is just tentative, and I
But
mean,
please-
it's pretty much set, but I didn't put the times down.
But I know a lot of people that would love to go to these things, so just make sure we get
And then
the rest of the
in
information.
June, we're having a meeting at the Grape Heritage Center, and the talk is Pioneer Winemakers of Chautauqua County, and that's done by John Slater.
When you say Grape Heritage Center, is that the Discovery
The
Center?
Discovery Center.
Okay. 'Cause
Grape Discovery Center.
Okay.
And then we're doing one in August at the Audubon Center in Jamestown, and that's on the Holland Land Company, and it's called Oak Plains and Gunter Chains, and it's the notes for understanding the European forests, the pre-European forests and how the survey was done here in Chautauqua County.
We had John Cheney and Ann Weidman on here a few weeks ago. We talked about the sea lion, and he was talking about the oaks that they harvested for that. And so, yeah, that's, again, this is, but putting it all together here, it's just fascinating.
And then in October of next year at the Cherry Creek Inn in Cherry Creek, there'll be a talk on the Amish settlement in eastern Chautauqua County. There's several Amish settlements, but this is focusing on the eastern Amish, eastern Chautauqua County Amish.
How far back did the Amish go in this county? Do you know?
You're asking me some questions I don't have answers
Oh, okay,
to.
but I mean, more than 100 years, probably.
I can't even give you that. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
They've been here for a while.
A while.
I know Carol Lawrence, though, and she's not that old. So, good. All right.
So, I mean, that's our primary talks for next year coming up. We also have the Book and Paper Show, which has become popular. That's going to be held at Easton Hall on May 2nd.
Yeah,
It's a Saturday.
I think we announced that this year. Okay.
And then we have the Antique Show, which is the longest running antique show in the United States.
Really?
And it's been at Easton Hall since 1938 in the same location. And I have not found anyone that's listed as being longer than this year's, 77 years, I think it is, that we've had that. So
With
that's
the
happened.
Book and Paper Show, I understand book. Paper, I'm assuming in these newspapers, is it money, currency? Or
All of the above.
All the above. Anything that has to do with...
And anything doing with paper products mostly.
Now, do people buy and sell things at both these antique
Well,
and the Book and Paper Show?
Yeah, the dealers, there's 20, at the antique show, there's 24 dealers, and they're all from out of the area.
Okay.
We bring in dealers from Connecticut and Ohio and all over
So
the
this
place.
is a big deal.
But it's a small show. It's only 24 dealers, but they're from all over the place, and
So
they've
you
been
get a
coming
nice,
for years.
nice mix of things.
Our doll dealer, she's been coming, I think, 32 years,
Wow.
and she comes from Michigan.
And I'm assuming that people from the whole area, region, Canada, the eastern seaboard, they would come here. I mean, is this like a touristy type
Right.
thing?
Most of the people that come here, I mean, there are obviously a few from Westfield and that area that come to the show, but a lot of our people come from Erie and Buffalo and Pittsburgh and the Chautauqua Lake region, because it's a summer event. So.
Does the this isn't supposed to be funny now, but it's a serious question. Does the Antique Roadshow ever check you guys out?
No. No.
I mean, we used to watch it all the time before we watched something else at that same time. But I mean, to me, that's just fascinating.
Oh, it is, yeah.
And not to bring up reality TV, but I watch Pawn Stars and American Pickers, and take away all the shtick and the stupid stuff and the comments, but the information they share, and I'm always fascinated by things that are sitting around in your house. And I'm not talking about the value, but the history of that item.
Right.
You know, I love going into antique places, and I have no idea what this gizmo is. And I'll say, what in the world is this for? Well, they'll say that was to cut the tops off of candles, or something that we have no connection with, but yet was a very practical, everyday thing in somebody's household. Okay, so this is all about the County Historical Society.
Right.
So you have 4 events where you have speakers, and then you have some shows and things like that.
And fundraisers.
And fundraisers.
We also have the Civil War reenactment.
Oh, I'm very familiar with that
That's
one.
in June. Next year, June 13th, which is Saturday and Sunday, we have the 9th Cavalry, and they have battles around the park, right around until I come out and yell at them and tell them to get off my property. And they stay overnight right in the park.
Yeah, a lot of times you see their cook fires and their...
And then that same weekend is our fundraiser, our only real fundraiser where we ask the community for help, and that's hors d'oeuvres and wine and beer, and that particular event has some music that was of no great consequence. we couldn't find anybody, so we got Hamels to come in, and he's our entertainment for that.
In fact, I've got it marked down if you still want me. Bill has moved away. He's in North Carolina now. So it's just I'll be.
Oh, it's a one-man show.
I might have a whole new act by then, but I've got it on my calendar to do that. And I think I've played it like 3 or 4 years now.
At least that many.
So it's a good time. Now this fundraiser is for the whole historical society.
Yes, well, everything is for
Okay.
all the funds pretty much go to preservation of the stuff that we have at the museum or the building, and the events, and the fact that we can do all these talks and things without any fees.
Awesome. So
it's all
it's
part
really
of it.
good. It's for the community.
Right.
Okay. So if you have an interest in historical kinds of things, you have a whole organization working on your behalf, and it's available to all of us. If you're just tuning in, I'm Doc Hamels. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is John Paul Wolfe, who is the curator of the McClure Mansion, and he's a board member of the Chautauqua County Historical Society. I got that all right, didn't I?
You did.
Some mornings. Anyways, so if you have a question or you want to know more about something, we may not have all the answers, but we certainly can point you in the direction, or we can call you back later or whatever. So don't be shy. You can call us at 753-5225, or you can Twitter us, you can Facebook us, or you can email us. You can do all those things to us, and we'll be happy to hear from you. Okay? All right, let's kind of hone this down a little bit. So you have this big organization. I know about the McClure that I want to get to here really soon, because I love that place, but there's also the Fenton Mansion.
That's in Jamestown.
That's Jamestown.
There's historical societies all over the county. The Fentons in Jamestown, they
But
started.
that's not part of this group?
No, no.
Oh, it's a
We're all-
separate one.
Oh, completely separate.
Oh, I did
They
not
started
know.
in 1964, I think, 63, 64.
So where is the hub of the Chautauqua Historical Society? At the McClure?
At the McClure. It started out in Mayville.
Okay.
There wasn't a home there. The county Board of Supervisors, which is now the legislature, when they built the new courthouse, they let the Historical Society move into the old county clerk's office, which is now the Sweet Spot restaurant.
Okay.
And so they were there for a long time as a place to house things. And then when the McClure came available, well, first they bought the Peacock Inn. There's a whole history of that.
Sure. I
but-
played there once.
well, there you go.
There's a history there, too.
But anyway, eventually, the village of Westfield had inherited the McClure Mansion, and they were going to tear it down. And the Historical Society said, "Wait a minute, we'll take this on."
They were going to knock down the McClure?
There was a vote. They inherited it in 1938 from Dr. Moore, and they didn't really want it. They sold everything in the house in 1940. Everything was stripped down. It was sat empty. Kids played in it during World War II time frame, and they took a vote to tear it down in 1948, 49. And just before that was going to happen, the Historical Society came and said, we'll restore it if you lease it. So we have a 75-year lease at $1 a year.
Okay.
But the village still owns the building, but we lease it from them.
Wow.
So that's up in 2026 or something.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to throw us out.
Hopefully never. So the McClure is the hub for the Chautauqua County Historical Society. Are there any other properties that are involved with the society?
No.
Okay, so this is,
That's
so if you hear of other things, the Bustye group,
They're all
or
separate
they're all separate
entities.
little groups.
Right.
Okay, because when you hear Chautauqua County, you think it's all inclusive, but it
Right.
really is basically.
What's inclusive is that we have things from all over the county.
Gotcha.
Because we were the first historical society, so back in the, in the 1950s and 60s, it became more of an interest for each community to start their own historical societies or museums, but that wasn't the case.
Right.
So we have stuff from Fredonia. We have major collections from Fredonia and Mayville and Jamestown and all the areas.
Okay, and I know many towns, they'll have their own historian.
Right.
As I know,
They're supposed to all have historians.
the Bardens were historians in our
Ripley,
community,
yeah.
McCutcheons and so forth. Okay, we have a phone call. Would you like to take
Okay.
it? Good morning, caller. Welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have a question for our guest or announcement?
Yes. I wondered if they'd made any plans to remove the white paint from the McClure Museum to make it look more like the original or not.
Oh,
Oh, you've hit an interesting topic there. We spent the last 2 years trying to raise funds to get what's called an historic structures report, and that's costing us $22,000. And we finally got grants in our own funding to get that done. And actually, yesterday I spent 6 hours with the architects from the Buffalo firm that we've hired to do it.
Okay.
And there were 2 architects, a structural engineer and a mechanical and electrical engineer who were there, and they're coming back. And when we get done with this report, the report will tell us what needs to be done, what part of the building's ready to fall down, what we need to do X, Y, and Z on every part of the building. And one of the reasons we needed to have that done was because We're a national trust, a national site, and we're controlled by state historic preservation. And so everything that we do, because of a grant that was given quite a few years ago, everything that we want to do with the building has to be approved by SHPO, State Historic Preservation
Oh, I'm very
Office.
familiar with SHPO.
Yeah, so it got to the point where it takes forever to get one little project approved, that this will help ease that burden, because now we have the professionals who've come in, or are coming in. So they will do this complete document that will tell us everything about the building, including the paint on the brick. The problem with the brick, the house was originally unpainted brick, made on the spot in 1817, 1818, so it's soft brick. It was first painted around, we think, around 1860s, 1870s, when they did some remodeling. It was painted a cream color.
Oh.
And then it was painted again, and it was painted a very lovely pea green with chocolate brown trim. And it was that color.
Elvis.
Elvis, yes. It was that color from about 1880s until 1950. So even though everyone says, well, it's always been white, well, no, it's only been white since 1951. And when back when it was the pea green and chocolate brown, it looked very Victorian, which is what they were trying to do. That would be the Moore McClurg family. And then it was painted white when we took over, and now it's a creamy color white. But the problem is the paint is trapping moisture in the brick, and it's peeling off. But that little project alone, removing the paint and repairing the brick that's got its problems, is, I don't know how we'll ever fund that. That's between $400,000 and $500,000. So that's
Wow.
so that's why the paint is peeling in some places. We don't want to repaint it, because if we use the new kind of paint to paint it to make it look better, that paint will never let go from the. So the paint is kind of falling off, and where the paint is not there, it's not the problem that it was where the water's sticking onto the. So that's just one minor problem of this whole building. The front porch has to be rethought and rebuilt. Windows, heating. The heating has been fixed. That was our first project we took on.
And air conditioning, too.
And air conditioning.
Very nice. Woo, that used to be hot
But
in there.
we did not do it for the people. We did it for the building. When we put in, that was a $28,000 project in 2007 or 8. It's 3 complete systems. And now the whole building's heated. The whole building's air conditioned. But it's heated and air conditioned for our stuff, not for the people.
Preservation.
So it's always kept at the same temperature. So in the summer you freeze, and in the winter you freeze.
There you go.
So.
Okay, caller, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling in. We have a second caller.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Good morning, caller. Hello. Okay, they're just connecting now. Okay, good morning, caller.
Good morning, John.
Oh.
Good morning, Doc.
Hi.
This is Linda. This is a fascinating show.
Of course. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. We all get fascinating people here.
I'm really very interested in everything you're talking about, John. We have so much history in Chautauqua County, and I'm always learning something new. And I understand that, is it true that the Portage Trail was really Portage Road that went from Lake Erie to Lake Chautauqua, where they would carry their cargo from the Great Lakes to then put it down into Lake Chautauqua, where it would travel downstream finally to the Gulf of Mexico.
That's correct.
And it's just so fascinating, this whole area. And I'm so glad that efforts were made to sustain and refurbish the McClure Mansion. I've been in that building many times. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I love it in there.
And if you haven't been in the past 4 or 5 years, major changes.
Yeah.
Well, I better go, because time flies, and I can't recall when the last time it was when I was there.
Well, and you, leading into that, you can come tomorrow, free. Tomorrow is our annual Christmas open house, or holiday open house, whichever you'd like to call it. And it's from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock tomorrow, meaning Sunday, December 7th, right?
Right.
And it's homemade desserts, coffee and punch, and our background entertainment is, our background music is the first Grammy Award winner in all of the United States. And I don't think any historical society can say that their background music is played by a Grammy winner. But Kent Knappenberger brings his kids from the school over, and he plays the harp, and they play
beautiful
music, and it's the background music, or a concert if you want to just sit and listen to that.
That's right, yeah.
So it's lots of homemade food, homemade desserts, and coffee and punch, and
And what's it cost?
zero.
Zero. Awesome.
And you can wander around the building for free, although we're not expensive if you do have to pay. If you want to come in some other time, it's $5 for adults. Children are free to come in anytime from ages 0 to 21. If you're in college, you come in for free, which is, I think, unique in in historical societies. And membership, if you want to come in and join and help this whole project, is $20 a year. And you get 4 newsletters, and
Yep.
so that's a pretty good deal, too.
I get my newsletters, and there's always something fascinating and something educational in there, and it's a great thing. So,
It sounds like a very worthwhile investment, and I think I'll invest in it.
Okay.
there you go.
And you can actually join online now. We are so modern. If you go to our website, which is mcclurgmuseum.org, there's a place where you can pay with a credit card or PayPal and join right without leaving
Right
your
now,
home.
go right to there. Right, stop what
And
you're doing. Forget about this show. We're having a telethon here.
That's right. That's right.
So, Linda, real quick, what's going on in your world up there at the Office of the Aging?
Well, we're continuing on with our senior employment program. We do have some openings coming up. We're celebrating computer training graduations. We just had one last Wednesday
Great.
in Dunkirk at the Dunkirk Free Library, and we had some wonderful distinguished guests come. Andy Goodell came, and also Tom Reed's helper and clerk from the Jamestown area, Jacqueline, came. So it was very well attended. It was a small group, but there were graduates and there were interested people. We're having another graduation in Brockton at the Brockton Free Library on Monday in the afternoon. So people are coming for the computer training, and we're having graduation events.
You guys are busy. Well, good
We
for
are.
you. Good job. All right. So, you got your Christmas tree up yet?
No, I don't have it up.
Come on, let's get in the spirit.
Yeah. It's not Christmas yet.
Oh, it's almost at my house. It goes from Thanksgiving to like New Year's. It's nonstop.
I know. It's nice to have it up. If you've got a real tree, though, you can't put it up that soon, or it's falling apart.
That's
by
another
the
story. We won't go
25th.
there. Okay, Lynn. As always, thanks for calling in. Good to hear from you.
The telephone number for Office for Aging, though,
Okay.
for all services is 753-4471 in Mayville.
We already popped it up. We're way ahead of you.
Oh, well, I thought I didn't know.
And it's back again. See that? We aim to please. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, have a great weekend.
Okay, you too.
Thanks, bye.
Okay, while we were talking, I got Twittered here.
Uh-oh.
And here's the questions. And they're kind of broad. It says here, and you can answer any and however you want to do it. How have you accumulated your displays, and how do you protect the artifacts and information stored at the museum?
All of the things that we have in the museum, and we think we have between 400,000 and 500,000 items. Most of it's paper, donations that have come in for the past 130 years, and they're preserved. We have, because of the air conditioning that now has prevented some of the damage. All the rooms are air conditioned and heated. All of our paper is now in archival boxes, and we're going through collections as fast as we can to sort and do better preservation from what it was. We just finished our quilt collection last spring. Diane Hammond
Oh, sure. I know about that.
took on that project. We brought all the quilts down. They're now on archival rolls. The cardboard rolls that they're stored on, they're 12 foot long. Those are $1,000 just to buy the rolls that the quilts are then rolled on. So that, I mean, that's where our money goes. That $20 that you join goes for that kind of things. The archival boxes, the archival paper that has
Special acid-free stuff.
yeah,
And I know I've seen they wear gloves just like you see on TV.
Right.
This is really done professionally here.
Well, we try. We're trying to figure it out the best way we can. So
Yeah.
we've got the quilts done. We're going to be, Diane's coming back in January, February to work on the coverlets We have some amazing coverlets and quilts.
Coverlet, something that goes on top of a
bed,
TV or a bed? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we haven't done those yet. We've got them sorted, but we have to, and then we have to figure out where they came from. We're putting everything into computers. Right now they're in big.
Oh, there you are.
There you go. Right now they're in big file folders and things, that kind of thing. And once we figure out the donors, then we put that into our computer also, so we can identify exactly what we have and who gave it to us and when it came in and all of that kind of thing. So that's part of it.
So there's a lot of work to this.
And we change displays all the time. We just put in a new display in the Lincoln Room, Lincoln Legacy Room, on armaments from the Civil War that you can see tomorrow for the first time. And we also have several major collections. We have the Tourget collection that's now been digitized. If you go to that website that was just up there, you punch on the Tourget collection and you can read all the papers. That's 12,000 documents that are on the website. We have the Cushing papers, which we're now digitizing. That's William and Alonzo Cushing and the Cushing family from Fredonia. We're digitizing those right now. We have the Foot papers that have been digitized. And we have an interesting one is the Italian newspapers. There was an Italian newspaper that was printed from about 1920 through 1950s in Dunkirk, and it was sent around the world. We got the original copies from the grandson of the publisher, and we digitized those a couple of years ago. And we get requests or thank yous all the time from around the country for the Italians who are doing research on, like, they found their great-grandfather's obituary, didn't know when he died.
Oh, that's huge.
So that's accessible around the world for free.
That's
unbelievable. You just punch, if you have that website site on the right hand or the left hand side, there's various categories. So it's under library or it's under archives, and you just hit it up and that's what you get.
Okay, I promised myself I was going to talk to you, and we've only got 3 minutes. I'll go quick. But I've played at the McClurg a few times now at their fundraiser every year, and there's a big picture. There's a painting that's always to my left. And when I look at that, it creeps me out to no end. All right, but it's a cool painting. But why does it look so creepy? And this is fascinating. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I think you told me once why it looked creepy.
Well, that painting we just acquired a few years ago. That's the Guiled children. Looks like it's pronounced Guild, but it's Guiled children. And that painting was hung in a house in Westfield on East Main, the old Drover Inn. And the Guile family bought that house in 1867, and the painting hung in that house until 2005 or 6, when the last heir, Barb Seymour, decided to move to Australia. She sold everything. So this painting is 4 children in the Guile family, 1864. And so there's the 3 larger children, and then a baby who sits in a carriage.
Creepy baby.
Creepy baby. I call her Cabbage Head Baby because the head is way too big for the body.
It's creepy.
But we know who all the 4 children are, and the baby was long dead before the painting was done.
Oh dear.
And the mother wanted all 4 children in the picture, so the artist just stuck a baby in a carriage.
Oh wow. Well, that's why. So
and that's been restored. That was $7,500 to restore that painting.
John, we're down to 2 minutes.
Okay.
So how about take a minute and tell the folks anything you want them to know about what's coming up at the McClurg or the Historical Society.
Well, the important thing is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So if you're watching this on Saturday, tomorrow is the day you need to come to the museum from 2 to 4. It's a holiday open house, and it's free to anybody in the county. Just come and enjoy all the food. I've made 4 different kinds of cookies, and everybody makes cookies and that kind of thing, and enjoy the music. And just we usually get around 150, 200 people there.
Wow. And parking is just anywhere on the street?
Wherever you can find it.
Wherever you can find it.
There's Easton Hall parking lot over on the village
Well,
parking
we've just scratched the surface today about the Historical Society and the McClurg. Will you come back another time, I hope?
Sure.
All right.
The one thing we did not talk about is
we're going to have to talk about that next time.
My trip to the White House.
Let's put that on the docket for next time. How's that? All right, folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest has been John Wolfe, who's the curator of the McClurg Mansion. And I hope you've been enjoying the show. If you have any questions, you can contact John at the museum. I'm Doc Hamels. You have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And let's get things rolling. Early, Merry Christmas. Have a great week. And we're going to see you all next time right here at Chautauqua Sunrise. Take care.